Welcome back once again to the channel, guys. That was a clip from the exclusive interview with Roger Ver by XRP Army News channel on here on YouTube back in 2020.
You know, everybody in XRP knows what he looks like now, but he looks like the stereotypical, computer nerd programmer is. He has long hair and not as much hair on top, and looks kind of like the stereotype mad scientist for crypto stuff. And I remember when I met him for the very first time, it was at the Bitcoin meetup in Silicon Valley there that I helped to get started. And he showed up in person, and he said, "Oh, I'm Joel Katz from the forums." And my initial response, I think, was like, "That's your real photo on the forums," because up to that point, I thought it was just kind of like somebody went on Google image search and tried to find the stereotypical image of a cryptographer, crypto nerd image, and use that for his profile. But it turned out it was his real profile.
Yeah.
And actually, when talking with him at some point through the whole birth of XRP and Ripple, it occurred to me, it just snapped one day. I said, "Wait a minute, I met you before." And so I had met David Schwartz in maybe the year 2000 at an artificial intelligence conference in Silicon Valley, and I had a really nice conversation with him. And after chatting with a little bit, it was real clear that he leans heavily libertarian. But at that time, he was working as a cryptographer for the NSA.
Now, before moving on, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video if you haven't already, and turn on bell notifications.
And it's really, really been fantastic to watch the path that XRP has managed to become one of the top cryptocurrencies in the entire world out there. It's just been a fantastic guy at the helm there, who I know from the early days as well. Right there from the very beginning of XRP and Ripple. And a lot of people won't realize that actually, when they initially created Ripple, there was the so-called toxic waste, right? The cryptographic stuff that nobody should get a hold of later, if they can cause problems. And I was one of those people that were actually involved in that actual creation ceremony there. So it was myself, Jed, David Schwartz, and a couple of other people there as well. So way back, once upon a time. And so it's kind of amazing to see just how far. Everyone's calling it XRP now. For me, it's just been, at first it was new coin, and then it still feels like Ripple to me. But it's been amazing to see the path that it goes there. And I'm currently more well known for my promotion of Bitcoin Cash, but I'm a big fan of absolutely anything that works. And I've made some XRP transactions in my day as well. It works really, really well. And the XRP Army is really exciting to see just what a great job they're doing at spreading it to the world. So I'm a fan of absolutely anything that works. So kudos to the XRP Army for doing that.
Did Roger Ver, Bitcoin Jesus, and essentially the world's first investor in Bitcoin startups, including Bitcoin.com, Blockchain.com, Ripple, Z.cash, BitPay, Kraken, and Purse.io, just say that he was among the earliest investors and the first two pioneers of XRP? Even before the likes of other important figures, such as the company's CEO Brad Garlinghouse, who was at Yahoo at the time, the group's executive chair Chris Larson, and even the CTO David Schwartz, who was with the NSA at the time. Now listen to this, guys.
He still is known as Bitcoin Jesus, and it is an honor and a pleasure to introduce to everyone one of the pioneers of the crypto space. And Roger, would you like to introduce yourself and say hello to everyone?
Yeah, hello everyone. Thank you for the opportunity. And I'd actually, I think I have some XRP stories we can talk about today that I don't think I've ever talked about publicly before. So maybe people will find those interesting as well.
Well, and I'm very much looking forward to that. And I've always been fascinated and if I get the number incorrect, then you can correct me. But I believe you were the third person that became involved with Ripple. Is that close?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was the second person. So maybe we should jump right into that story there. So
then take off. You should.
Just take a close look at the host. I bet you these words by Roger Ver just completely subverted his view of XRP. Take a close look at how shocked he was when Roger said those words.
Jed definitely had the vision and was really, really good at connecting the right people to make things happen. So I actually paid the salary for Joel Katz is his screen name, and his real name always escapes me because I originally know him from the Bitcoin Talk forums in the early days.
David Schwartz.
David Schwartz. Thank you. So his screen name was was Joel Katz on the Bitcoin Talk forums. And I remember.
You all heard that, right? Pretty awesome, right? Roger Ver, the Bitcoin Jesus, had been involved with Ripple and David Schwartz right from the start. Doesn't this revelation by Roger Ver, one of the pioneers of the emerging crypto space, correlate all of the talk about the XRP team's relationship with the Bitcoin network, which isn't much of a surprise, given most people believe it is a fork of Bitcoin? What makes this even more intriguing this time, in fact, is the level of detail in these findings. Bitcoin and OpenCoin were born on the same IP address located literally right next to Phoenix, Arizona. Even more intriguing is this tweet that reads, "I recently heard this, David Schwartz is being said to be the real Satoshi." This one Twitter user responds, "Not really, just ask Joel Katz. A coincidence, two things that fit together perfectly." And then we had another tweet from ProCoin News that read, "Can you imagine the heads that would explode if this ends up being true? Joel Katz, can you comment from the boat you're on in the South Pole?" In response to that, Ripple's chief technology officer and one of the original architects of the XRP ledger replied, "I have almost the entire skill set needed to have been Satoshi. It's certainly plausible that I was part of a group, but nevertheless, it's not true. I didn't find out about Bitcoin until 2011. Guys, take a close look at this. The XRP ledger's official website, xrpl.org, was registered in 2007 under the IP addresses 6420.43.107 and 6645.238.60. And if you look through the comments, you'll come across some interesting finds. RippleTrade.com, Bitcoin.com, CraigWright.net, DCAO.org, XRPL.org, and SMSZ.net, most of these crypto-related websites, two of which are most important to us, which is the Bitcoin.com and XRPL.org, or we could say three should we include RippleTrade.com. So guys, what does this mean to have the domain names for Bitcoin and the XRP ledger registered from the same IP, roughly in an interval of within a month or two? Who was behind these registrations? Could it be Mr. Ver, who at the time had contracted the then NSA cryptographer David Schwartz to register both these domain names? Or could it just so happen to be a coincidence that the said IP, which I bet you points to the same location as the registrant of the Bitcoin.com website? Guys, isn't that too good to be true for a coincidence? I don't know. You tell me after listening to this.
And I remember when I met him for the very first time, it was at the Bitcoin meetup in Silicon Valley there that I helped to get started. And he showed up in person and he said, "Oh, I'm Joel Katz from the forums." And my initial response, I think, was like, "That's your real photo on the forums," because up to that point, I thought it was just kind of like somebody went on Google image search and tried to find the stereotypical image of a cryptographer, crypto nerd image and use that for his profile. But it turned out it was his real profile.
Yeah.
And actually, when talking with him at some point through the whole birth of XRP and Ripple, it occurred to me, it just snapped one day. I said, "Wait a minute, I met you before." And so I had met David Schwartz in maybe the year 2000 at an artificial intelligence conference in Silicon Valley, and I had a really nice conversation with him. And after chatting with him a little bit, it was real clear that he leans heavily libertarian. But at that time, he was working as a cryptographer for the NSA. And so I asked him, I said, well, if you're such a libertarian, why are you working at the NSA? That's kind of the opposite of what libertarians are supporting. And he got this twinkle in his eye and he rubbed his hands together and he said, because they have me working on the most subversive things imaginable.
Oh my, that's pretty interesting to me as well. So now you wouldn't be surprised as to why these XRP goons and crypto enthusiasts from around the world have always put up the idea that should David Schwartz not likely be a member of the group collectively known as Satoshi Nakamoto, then he probably does know who the members of the group are. He or Roger Ver should know. That was from the CEO of the Gold Secure Currency, or GSX for short, talking about some of their latest mining updates so far. The Gold Secure Currency is a stablecoin-like cryptocurrency with an ever-increasing asset backing of a secured asset trust, currently estimated to be worth over $7 billion. It can facilitate growth like a traditional cryptocurrency. The adoption of GSX as an everyday usable currency is underway, allowing daily marketplace usage thanks to its sub-2-second transaction speeds and stable growing value. Knoxwire being the core medium in Knoxwire, GSX is offered as leverage and pre-funding, giving financial institutions greater incentives and flexibility in international transfers when using GSX. Once again, for those who are not familiar with this new and innovative digital asset and would love to learn more about it, make sure you look through the links in the description section below for that of the GSX official website. That's it for today, folks. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video.